A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Let's see tonight if there will be a focus on what was a lot of discussion. Remember in the 2020 debate where they talked about the laptop and Joe Biden said, they said it's Russian disinformation. Well, we know the laptop is real. And we also have the reporter who had so many huge scoops on all of this. Miranda Devine, of course, with the New York Post. Miranda, you also had another big scoop on the 51 Intel folks, because that was another big one. You call it sort of the dirty 51, because who could forget that moment in the 2020 debate where Joe Biden was 51 Intel agents say it's Russian disinformation. The laptop's not real. Tell us what you know. You have some more great scoops.
Well, this is actually care of the Judiciary Committee in the House, and they've interviewed the number 3 at the CIA at the time of the 2020 election and have found that that letter signed and written by 51 former intelligence officials, we were told, actually was cleared by the highest echelons of the CIA. This Andrew McCreadis, who was then the chief operating officer of the CIA, has testified that he walked across the corridor and showed the Dirty 51 letter that dishonestly, falsely claimed that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. He showed that to the CIA director and the deputy director. That would be Gina Haspel and her deputy. And so we also know that a couple of those Dirty 51 were on the payroll of the CIA at the time. They were active contractors, at least 2 of them, probably more. And we also know that a serving CIA employee, at least one, was helping recruit people to sign. So this was a CIA dirty tricks operation to rig the election, to favour, to bury derogatory information about their favoured candidate, Joe Biden. And, imagine if they hadn't done that, our story hadn't been suppressed and they helped suppress it, Joe Biden wouldn't have had a get-out-of-jail-free card at his last debate, last time he met with Donald Trump on stage. And the election, as we know from polls, if more of the public, those Biden voters, had known about this influence peddling operation, this corruption of Joe Biden, they would have changed their vote. And in a very close election that was decided by 45,000 voters, that could have changed the outcome. And imagine this country, we would not have 8 million plus illegal migrants here raping and pillaging. We wouldn't have Laken Riley dead and Rachel Morin dead and another little girl dead and raped. And we wouldn't have probably a war in Ukraine or a war in Gaza.
And the price of oil being almost double, and the price of interest rates being triple, and the price of food being up 30 or 40%.
Exactly. And look, I think this is what we'll see in the debate tonight, that, I don't know if Donald Trump will get the chance to raise the fact that the last time he and Joe Biden met, Joe Biden looked down the barrel of the camera and lied to the American people and said, basically, that laptop is a Russian plant. It's a bunch of garbage. My son never made any money from China. That was exactly what he said, knowing it was a lie. I doubt very much whether Jake Tapper or Dana Bash is going to bring that up, but it would be great if Donald Trump could at least tell the American people that this guy, this president who pretends to be, a paragon of virtue and of great character compared to Trump, actually got up there and bald-faced lied.
Yeah, and listen, he could certainly turn the tables, even if they don't ask, and pose the question, say, hey, why, don't you owe the American public an apology? Or Jake and Dana, why are you not asking about? It'll be interesting, if he can do that. Governor Patterson, you have a question for Miranda Devine.
Miranda, I would think that information as devastating as that is at the former president's desk at this moment. And it would be surprising if he didn't bring it up, because it's pretty damning. At the same time, I guess what Biden would try to say is that that was the information at the time. It turned out not to be right, but I don't even think he'd say that.
Well, I mean, it's just implausible that he could say that because it was his son's laptop. He knew that it wasn't Russian disinformation. And, you know...
And Blinken is the one who chased up the letter with Morell.
Exactly. Antony Blinken, now Secretary of State, then a senior advisor, he was the one who phoned former acting director Mike Morell and instigated the letter. And Morell has testified to Congress and said he never had the idea until Blinken called him, put the idea in his head, and then followed up with an email, some bogus email from USA Today, from anonymous sources, intelligence sources, same people probably, CIA, saying that it was Russian disinformation laptop, and it wasn't. Had nothing to do with that. They knew it. The FBI knew. They had the laptop since December 2019. The CIA knew. Of course they knew. We pay these entities billions of dollars to keep Americans safe. We do not pay them to interfere in our elections, to do basically a domestic regime change operation because they preferred Biden over Trump.
I heard a story from one of our mutual friends, Miranda, that when the FBI went in and took the laptop away, they forgot to ask the question, is this the only laptop? And I understand there was 4 of them.
Wow.
Three other backups.
Yeah, well, not is this the only laptop, is this the only copy of the hard drive. So John Paul MacIsaac, the computer shop operator, gave the FBI the laptop and also gave them a hard drive copy. But he had uploaded the entire laptop because he had to, because he was trying to rescue the contents because it was waterlogged. He'd uploaded it to his server at his shop so he could make as many copies as he wanted, and he did make a copy and send it to Rudy Giuliani, who then gave it to us.
Wow. Ed Cox?
So Miranda, there is this letter that has been signed by a bunch of Nobel laureates.
Surprise, surprise, yes. On the eve of another debate, Ed.
Disparaging what the future would be under a President Trump economically, which is a major issue. Do you think Biden would dare raise it in this debate under these circumstances?
The campaign's already talking about that. By the way, the campaign is.
Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure it was written specifically for him to have a talking point about the economy, which has been a disaster under him. And it's the same old, I don't know if it works with anyone anymore, this appeal to experts. But those same experts sounded the exact same warning about Trump back in 2016, and they were completely and utterly wrong. The economy was singing under Trump. The 51 Intel, the 16 Nobel Prize, no one is buying it anymore because these are partisans. They're pretending they're abusing the expertise and the high status that they had and actually destroying their own high status by doing this. I don't understand it, but it's really squandering what used to be in this country. There were great experts and people that you could rely on, but not anymore because they've just become partisan hacks.
Well, we're going to be watching tonight for the debate, Miranda, how much of maybe the laptop, the 51 Intels. Boy, we're going to be on pins and needles, and we're going to be covering it here on WABC. Wow.
It's going to be a big night.
Yeah,
and
huge
Rita
night.
and Bill O'Reilly, I'll be listening to you guys to
you.
To hear your comments.
I can't wait. Miranda, we're going to be glued to see if some of your great work is going to be talked about. Thank you, Miranda.